Well, hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fist and Jawa Save the Universe. I am Fist-25, and today we are going to do a ship review on probably the favorite starter ship in Robert Space Industries repertoire, and that is on the RSI Aurora. Let's get started. Okay, so welcome back to Fist and Jawa Save the Universe. If at the end of the video, if you end up liking this content, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to the video. We have all kinds of content, tutorials, guides. We do a lot of stuff on mining, and we stream every Thursday and most Sunday mornings, Mountain Time, and you can check that out at our website, fistandjawa.org. But let's start talking about the RSI Aurora. So the Aurora is a interesting ship because it comes in different variants. There are actually 5 different variants to the RSI Aurora. The current starting ship is the RSI Aurora MR, or Marquee. It is a spaceship that is focused on interdiction, and it comes decently equipped, although it's missing some stuff. We'll go over all the equipment later on in the video when we do the loadout section. But, you know, perhaps you're looking for something that offers carrying capacity, but has combat capabilities as well. The Aurora Marquee comes with a pair of bearing quality lasers and a high quality gun cooler system. That is basically what is on the brochure, for lack of better terminology. A lot of things on the brochure and the RSI website are a bit out of date. The next Aurora we're going to look at is the Aurora ES, which to me is the base model of the Aurora line, and the ES stands for Essential. It is the quintessential, really kind of starter Pathfinder ship of the Aurora line. The Aurora is the modern day descendant of the Robert Space Industries X-7 spacecraft, which tested the very first jump engines. Utilitarian to a T, the Aurora Essential is the perfect choice for new ship owners, versatile enough to tackle a myriad of challenges, yet with a straightforward and intuitive design. Now, yes, you guessed it, there are more variants to the Aurora. The next one we're going to talk about is the Aurora LX, which also stands for Deluxe. Kind of like a car manufacturer would have different things. And for the Aurora LX, be proud of your roots with the brand new Aurora Deluxe. Built for the discerning pilot who never forgets where he or she came from, the LX features patent leather interior to guarantee comfort for those long stretches in the deep black. So it is the more luxury version of the Aurora. And besides the MR, which I think is an adequate starter ship, there are 2 other versions of the Aurora. The first one we'll talk about is the CL, or the Clipper version of the Aurora. Customized for mercantile and trading excursions, the Aurora Clipper is the perfect vessel for aspiring entrepreneurs and seasoned traders alike. Thanks to its expanded cargo capacity, the Clipper ups the ante for personal merchant craft. So the Clipper is, none of them have a lot of cargo, but the Clipper has the most amount of cargo space. And again, we'll get into those stats when we visit the loadout section, and we'll talk about the differences between all the different Aurora versions. The last Aurora, and probably my favorite version of the Aurora, is the Aurora LN, which stands for Legionnaire. With a more robust shield generator and a pair of additional weapon hardpoints, the Legionnaire is a dedicated combat fighter. Built to handle any obstacle the universe can throw at you. Well, that is yet to be seen, but it does come with a better weapon package. It comes with all of its guns. It comes with more missiles, and we'll get into that when we do the loadout section again. So without further ado, let's cut over to myself over at Magda while we're testing the RSI Aurora MR, the Marquee. Hey everybody, so welcome back. We are here at Magda. It's a little bit windy here as I'm kind of toppled over a little bit, but the sun just came out, so look at that beautiful, beautiful beast of a ship behind me. It's not really a beast. It's a pretty good ship, though. That is the RSI Aurora Marquee, and yeah, let's take a look at it. Aha! Okay, so the RSI Aurora Marquee, the MR, which is the default starter ship that you get in Star Citizen. Well, if you buy that package, that is the starter package, is the MR. I believe back in the day it might have been the ES, but that may have changed. I'm not 100% sure. If you were around back then, please let me know. There's a lot of history on the Aurora, and I wish I knew more of it. But this is a pretty high-level overview, so we're just kind of do that. So let's start here with the front. You'll notice about the front, it has a lot of glass on the front, and that actually aids a lot on being able to see in the ship. Not only can you see ahead of you really well because the strut placement is not bad, you can also see the ground as you're landing and stuff. So that one of the best cockpit layouts I've ever seen. As we go back, we can also see the lights on the very top of the Aurora. Let's continue around to the starboard side of the ship. We got some decent light out here. So, you can see there is a door on the starboard side, as well as the port side. It's one of the very few ships in the game that actually you can enter it from either side. You can see kind of on the front, there is a set of 117 Bulldog laser repeaters. And so that's I believe that is the default weapons that comes with this ship. As we keep on going to the starboard side, you'll notice up on top of the starboard side wing by that green light that there is another one CF-117 Bulldog laser repeater on a gimbal. So I have 4 guns on the ship. They're all the same gun. They're all on a gimbal. So because they are all size 1 hardpoints, this is a very small starter ship. What looks like deployable wings on this ship, like it could have deployable wings. Unfortunately, those do not deploy. They are, I don't even know what's stored in them. Electrical components, maybe. Maybe there's some sort of movable surface one day, but right now they're ugly and I hate them, but they do lend to the aesthetic of the Aurora. Notice the Aurora does have a tricycle landing gear configuration, 1 in the front and 2 in the back. As we head towards the back of the ship, we can see the engine over here. I do have the engine off, so we'll take a look at that before we take off. And you can see there's just some more components. And then you'll notice in the video for it and later on that this is, I think the intent is for the Aurora to be able to pick up some kind of packages or something like that as part of a cargo type of deal. But I believe as of right now, I mean, we'll do a cargo run here at Magda just to do it. But I don't know. We'll have to try it out. That may be a cargo area though, under the ship. On the port side of the ship, there is another entrance there, and as we can see near the red light, there is another weapon, and the other port side weapon. So let's head to the back of the ship here in our actual FPS view before we freeze out here. I don't see any place to necessarily grab anything. So I tell you what, folks, let me go pick up some cargo, and I'll meet you right back here.
A few moments later.
Okay, guys, so the ship is now holding 3 SCU of diamonds, which is the most expensive thing I could buy here. And you can see that back here, there is actually nothing. There's no cargo unit or anything attached here. I had one of our guys on the stream ask me if there's going to be a detachable cargo unit here. I don't think that's the plan during the cargo refactor, at least not on this ship. But I don't know. Maybe there is, but as far as I know right now, there is not. One of the other things the ship is really good at is doing box missions, because as you can see once we open the door here, there actually is pretty ample room to at least put down a few boxes. So it's a good ship to do very, very basic cargo runs. There's only 3 SCU on all of these ships except for the Clipper, which has 6, which is still not a lot. But there is room to do up to like 3, 4, 5 box missions at once in the Aurora. Okay, guys, so we're going to actually check our Moby here. And I think there is a contract out at, yeah, here we go. It's a new pilot position here to pick up a box on Ida and take it to her L1. So we're going to showcase the cargo run feature of this ship. But first, before we do that, let's go ahead and enter the ship, and the stairs came out because the door was already open. And we will check out the interior of the RSI Aurora. So as you can see, there's not much room in here. There's room for someone to stand, maybe a couple people staying. You can probably fit like 5 people in here. There is clipping through the ceiling, as you guys are about to see here in a minute. Yes, that is a bed back there. It is like a vampire type of bed. Even though we have light coming in here, there is just not enough sunlight to show much. But yes, it's one of the ships you can sleep in. So let's go ahead and lie down. And we don't really have a scooch in animation, but you can see we do have some windows at the side, so that's pretty cool. And then we can see the cockpit from the front. Now, every time I've tried to get out of the bed, I've always clipped through the top of the ship. So let's see what happens. We'll hit get up, and yes, we straight clip through the top of the ship again. But hey, it's a good way to get on top, I guess. You can see there's a thruster right there. Probably some kind of cooling. This ship does come with 2 size 1 missiles. So that is a bonus. And we'll go ahead and enter through the right side. That will happen every time, guys, at least in 3.16.1. So make sure if you do get an RSI Aurora and you get into the bed, if you're going to get out of it, like if you're in it with a friend and they're just transporting you or something, make sure that you're at a stop before you get out of bed, or you will get left behind if they are moving. So let's go ahead and hop into the cockpit area. And this is probably my favorite part about the Aurora, is the cockpit design. As we can see, it is a HOTAS setup, which I personally use, 2 sticks. Then we can see there's tons of glass all around. On the top, there's a lot of struts here, but it actually doesn't really impede my view. I really, really like it. I am a fan of this loadout for sure. Let me go ahead and turn the ship on. Oh, I need to turn the engines on. There we go. We can see the engines start to fire up back here. Kind of. It's pretty light outside, so we'll see that more when we actually take off on the ship. Let's take a look around the cockpit, see what we can see. First off, guys, in a size 1 starter ship, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 multi-function displays. 2 of them being large size, and the displays that show up, shields, target, ship status, power triangle, are the perfect screens to have up there in your field of view. Comms and weapons are also the other 2 perfect screens to have up. There was some thought that actually went into this, and it's really, really good. So let's take a look around. You know how to work the multifunction displays. If you don't, check out my starter video. But there are some buttons down here. To the right, open exterior, press to unlock. Engine on, engine off. MFD manipulation. Oh, what's that? Power off, looks like is the button over here on the left, MFD. And I think that may be about it. This has not had like a gold standard pass or anything like that. And I don't think there is actually an ejection lever, even though I don't even know if you can eject in this. We might have to try that out too. But yeah, there you go. Pretty basic in here. Yeah, let's go ahead and take off. Let's do a little bit of flying around Magda. So there we go. pretty easy takeoff there. Let's cycle this landing gear up. Nice and easy, nice and quick. We'll zoom out a little bit. And we can see the profile of the Aurora here. Like I was telling you guys earlier, it's not a beautiful ship. There are some really decent lines on the cockpit and stuff, but past that, the circular entrance doors and the what should be deployable wings are not a thing. And it's got this really long body that is kind of ugly to me, at least. I do like the intakes where they're at, but overall, it's not an aesthetically pleasing ship, but it is a pretty decent ship, and I tend to fall in love with every ship I fly. But this is the Aurora. So now you can see the engines kind of kick on there. Let's show you what some afterburner looks like. There's afterburner. As we kind of come up, we'll make a turn around Magna, kind of show you the yaw turn rate. The roll radius is actually, this is the pitch. I'm sorry, guys. This is the pitch. Not great. Not great. It wanted to level off by itself. The roll is not bad for an Aurora, for a small ship. Let's look at the yaw. See, it does not want to yaw at all. It's probably because my speed is up. I was a little bit above SCM here. It's a little wiggly, right? It's a little squirrely under throttle. So now we're at SCM. Let's check the yaw. Not great. See how it stops me right there? And then it pushes forward. Not the greatest. Let's check the pitch. Go for a loop-de-loop here. I would say the pitch is decent. It's not anything to fall in love with. And then when we roll, and we'll go for a pitch here, not bad. Not bad. With the 4 weapon hard points here, it can do a fairly decent job. So, as I'm shooting even for size 1 weapons, if you can get on target, you probably land a lot of shots. Now, everything's on a gimbal, so if I hit G, it will show my gimbal window, these dashed lines around the front, and if I hit G again, it'll go into target mode. So everything is definitely on a gimbal. So let's see how fast we can get in Magda's atmosphere here. As we're gonna, one decent thing about this ship as well is it has a lot of boost to use, if that makes sense. It doesn't go away right away like a Prospector's boost, which Prospector has almost no boost. The Aurora has quite a bit of boost before you're going to run it down. So that is a bonus. We're up to about 350s or so. And there we go. Let's go ahead and let's head on out to the atmosphere. We have a job to do at ETA. We'll watch us leaving here, watching us leave the beautiful moon of Magda. Such a pretty game. And in our starter RSI Aurora ship. So we are pretty much out of that atmosphere. And you see how it, I mean, there's still a little bit of atmosphere, but we are tugging at higher speeds. And redding out right there. Ooh. Redding out a little bit as we're pulling some G's to try and line up for our quantum jump. We're going to quantum jump over to ETA here. And I have an upgraded quantum drive in here. The stock drive is quite a bit slower to spool and to quantum. But, you know, the Hursting jumps around the moons are pretty short to begin with, so. Let's do what the ship was kind of made to do. The cargo run. So we're here at ETA. Looks like Woodruff is hopefully in the daytime here. Okay. Whoa. That was a nice bug. That wasn't cool. That's 'cause sometimes the game just freaks out and your ship will jolt. That's not fun at all. When we get back into space before we go to Hurl 1, we'll do some space flight characteristics. because this cargo run should not take long at all. It's just one box we're picking up. Okay. We're going to turn our quantum off because when we have a mission, we actually have a marker. You can see we're headed into the atmosphere here, going high 500s. Let's see if we can crank it up all the way to the top. We'll even get some boosts going up in there. See if we can get past 800. Yep, sure can. And we're coming up way too fast on the target. I don't want to overshoot it. And let's get down into some atmosphere here. Ida's got a little bit of drifting 2D clouds going on over here. Or that's like a dust storm. Pretty cool effects, though, with the weather there. Okay, so it's going to be windy on Ita. We can see the building we're trying to land at, so let's go into third-person mode. Oops, there we go. Our landing gear's down. I don't like to land on the pads to go get a package. I don't need to. Where is the door to this place? It's right there. Okay. Nice thing about the Aurora, it's a small ship. Oh. Nope. That wind is pushing me. Alright, let's come to a landing here. There we go. Turn the engines off and hop out of the cockpit. You can see our head kind of clip through the ceiling a little bit right there. And for this one, we're just going to open the door, hop out. We're going to keep the door open. Hopefully no one comes in and steals the ship. There we go. And we're in. Okay, we're going to pick up our package here. It looks like it's this box. There we go. So it shakes around. Quick mission, earn our stripes here. I just actually did a character reset, which is probably why all my reputation here got a little fuzzy. Either that or I just haven't done this mission. So we're going to go ahead and enter the ship on this side. The ladder came down. Our box is still in our hand. And what we can do is we can either drop it or we can place it. And we'll just go ahead and place it on the ground. And you can see we can fit multiple boxes in here. We can do a bunch of different box missions, and this is a good little ship to do it. All right, let's make haste. Time is money. Fire up those engines. Okay. Landing gear up. And we're out of here, Ida. So we know we have to go to Hurrah 1. So we will go ahead and click on Hurrah 1. We're going to go to the station. All right, we should be mostly clear of their atmosphere here. And as I said before, we are going to go to max speed out here in space. So we can get the spaceflight characteristics. A little bit of boost. Okay, so it looks like the top speed of this ship is right around 1209, maybe 1210 for the exact top speed. As we are well above the moon's surface at this point, this ship is cruising. In space, you can see our roll rate about the same. Yaw rate, once we are clear of atmosphere, is actually pretty good, as is the pitch rate. For a starter ship, I think it's pretty darn good ship. And let's go ahead and fire the weapons just to show you that. We'll go ahead and re-gimbal. So you're getting 41 shots on each weapon with even power balance. If we were to do maximum balance, maximum weapons, we would get 49 shots from each. So not a huge number, 8 extra shots, but the recharge rate is nice. So we'll go ahead and rebalance. We will pull out a quantum course to her L1. And let's go deliver this package. All right, so of course, just as I got to her L1, the server 30K'd, and yeah, I didn't get to deliver the box, but I did make it here. I would have finished the mission. The heartbeat system did work. I actually woke up on her L1, which I expected to wake up at Lorville because that's where I left from. But I still have my diamond in my ship and all that stuff. So now we're going to head back to Hurston, and we're going to see how the Aurora MR does in a solo dogfight. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, as promised, we are back in the Hurston area, and we have a bounty mission. Now, as I mentioned before, I did just reset this account, so I have to reboot my reputation, if that makes sense. So I was trying to get to this guy. I hate it when you quantum to a planet and there's really no markers out there for you. Unless I'm just, yeah, let's just pretend like we're going to Ida. Anyway, the mission I'm taking is appropriate for an Aurora. It's a tracker training mission. So this is kind of how I cheat the system. Get past the orbital markers and stuff. Where's my bounty? Let's go to OM1. Okay. Anyway, guys, we're going to do the quantum dance around Hurston here. I think. Where is my target? Let me just... There he is. Oh, is it an atmospheric target? I have no idea. This is hard to tell. It's hard to see where he's at. The mission said at location address. So that could mean a lot of different things. Okay, let's try to find this bounty. Oh, looks like it is an ammo bounty. At Hurston, which is not awesome. So that pretty much means I gotta fly down to the surface. Yeah, let's see how well this works. Let's see if I can maybe cut it if I have a chance. Well, they're not too far away. I do not like atmospheric bounties. For a tracker training mission, probably not a big deal because it's probably only 1 or 2 ships. But I'm just not a big fan of them. And it's really comes down to FPS, and sometimes, especially in the dark, it's really hard to see. And the enemy typically has infinite ammo a lot of times, and they all have night vision, right? So they could typically see, and it's just the computer knows where the ground is, things like that. Not that they don't make mistakes, but it is, I would say a lot of advantages are neutralized in that we're human and they're computer. But anyway, let's give it a shot. Let's see how the good old Aurora does with gimbal weapons. As we slowly make our way to Espen something. Oh, there we go. We got to neutralize. Now, the reason I reset my account was because when I went to use the missiles, I could never achieve a missile lock. It would just sit on the missile screen and nothing would ever lock on. And that happened for the entirety of the 316.1. And I finally got fed up with it last night, and I just decided while I was at work today, I would reset my account. So we're going to test that out too. live on the video and see if that works. We'll go into missile operator mode. Well, we'll go one missile at a time, see what happens. Got to get him to show up on our radar first, right? Surprised we don't see a target yet when we're under 10. There we go. There he is. Just spawning in. Woo! Very windy out here in Hurston, and it looks like I'm having the same missile issues. The missiles do not want to lock on to the target. You guys can see it. I mean, there's nothing I'm necessarily doing wrong. So for this first target, we'll just go with gimbal weapons and go from there. Oh, it's the Eclipse with infinite ballistic ammo. And of course their missiles work. And this is an Aurora. We have Aurora on Aurora Violence here. Pretty low on the magazine count here, as we're trying to stay in our... Oh gosh, it's so hard to control. Not the greatest flight model here. Okay. So the Aurora is down. Looks like we have some minables around here. There's our other guy, the Eclipse. You can see my missiles are just, whoa, what is going on? I'm not even controlling that. That has to be the wind. And you see the missiles. I mean, I know it says too close, but yeah, there's they don't lock on at all. And I can fire them. It's not an issue of firing. It's an issue of locking. So maybe I need to mess with my keybinds. I'm not sure. I did just reset all of them recently, so I may have to do it again. And I wish I could feel him actually hitting my ship. I can see my shields going down. Trying to stay on his 6. So I would say the Aurora, yeah, a little bit of desync there. I would say the Aurora in general for very low targets, medium targets, it's probably a pretty good ship. If you get, and I'm talking atmosphere here, if you get into high risk targets, very high risk, extreme risk in atmosphere, I mean, it's not a good ship for any of those missions, but it is a lot easier to do in space. So there we go, guys. That is the Aurora MR with a dogfighting battle in atmosphere at Hurston. And we are going to head on over to the loadout section of the video, and then we'll go over the brochure. We are going to do a loadout on all 5 Auroras. We'll go over the differences. Then we'll watch the Aurora video, and then we'll wrap up with final thoughts. So stay tuned for more on the RSI Aurora. All right, guys, let's talk about loadouts. Here we are with the first of the 5 loadouts. I'm going to try to keep this as brief as I can, but there are 5 ships. So let's talk about the Aurora Marquee, the Aurora MR, the starter ship, package ship in 2022. With 3.16.1. This is the default loadout. You can notice that it does come with 2 CF-117 Bulldogs on size 1 gimbals, and the other 2 weapons are empty. It does come with 2 size 1 missiles. The missile rack size is a size 2. And yeah, those weapons are okay for a starter ship. Very similar to a Mustang with only 2 weapons. It's also missing its 2. But I don't believe it has any missiles on the Mustang. It just flies much, much better. Before we get too much into the loadout here, let's look at the base stats. It is a light fighter combat ship, size 2 of a ship, crew size of 1. It's a solo ship. The body hit points, 1880, and basically hull hit points. The nose of 1940, a total of 6290 in hit points. And we'll try to check all the different ships in comparison. The speed, SCM speed, combat maneuvering speed 147. Afterburner max speed is 1212. You can see pics rolling out. The pics in the yaw just are not good. They're the same. Although it seemed our pics was better than our yaw, but in space, this is I believe in zero gravity. The roll is decent. It's not anything to write home about, but it's pretty good. And it has a standard hydrogen and quantum fuel capacity for a size 1 smaller ship. You can purchase this. It's one of the very cheaper ships in game at Lorville at New Deal Shipyard for 184,900 alpha UEC. We can see with the sustained fire, our DPS is about 390, burst damage 672. This is the stock weapon loadout. Okay, keep that in mind. The shield right now, it says bubble shield size 1. That will stay the same in 317. We can see that the power consumption is well under half. It's about a quarter to a third, somewhere in between there. Not too bad. And the cooling is way under capacity. It's 760,000 cooling, and we're only using 88 of that. The EM and the IR are fairly high for the ship. You're not going to be stealth in this ship because the EM and the IR are pretty high to start with. So let's move into standard component layout. What I would do for the weapons here to minimize cost and to keep everything pretty much the same, I would add size 1 gimbals to each of the other hardpoints. I just go ahead and throw on CF-117 Bulldogs. The reason I do that is because you see down here there's a price. The 117s are 3,145 credits. The attritions are more, and the NDB-26s are more, and they all have the same stats. Unfortunately, in these last couple patches, the weapons they're just all the same DPS. So I'd say stick with the cheapest gun in this case. The missiles, I think the Marksman 2, they're infrared, they're fine. You might want to look at going to the Pioneers or the Task Force 1s, but possibly even the Arrow, because looks like they have the most damage. But I typically like cross sections. Looks like the cross section does have just edges out in the most damage, so we'll go with Spark 2s. Now let's take a look at the shields. The shields are okay. They're industrial grade C. They're not, I take that back. They're not okay. They're not great shields. Industrial grade C, the Bulwark, 1,500 hit points. The max industrial hit points you can get is 1,725. Those are pretty expensive shields. 16,000 down over to 23. And they're slow. They're very slow shields. The point of industrial shields and industrial parts is that they wear down slower, so there's lower repair costs. And they're meant to last longer, but not necessarily be the best performers. In the case of shields, usually military is the best performers. But if we look at the civilian, the 7 SA Concorde, it's 1,725 hit points, and it costs 12,650. The military, the best military shield, the FR66, hey look, 1,725 hit points, same recharge rate, and those cost 18,000. Now the big difference between the military shields and the civilian shields is the military shields are much better against distortion damage. So if someone is distorting you, you're going to want to use the military shields. Basically, kind of right now, the military shields are more of a PvP build, whereas the civilian shields, I think, are an all-around good build. They're cheap, they're effective. Very rarely do you find PvE player like the computer using distortion weapons. Very, very rarely. So I would say as a general PvE build, go with the 7 SA Concords on both shield fronts to get the maximum amount of shields. However, they're not like incredibly better. So if you don't want to upgrade the shields, don't upgrade the shields. They're not bad to start with. Okay, they do have a little bit of a power requirement, but moving on. Now we're over to the power plant. It is industrial grade D. It is not a great power plant. The industrial grade A is going to give you the most power, but it's also, again, one of the slowest type of power plants. Typically, I do recommend always to go with the military power plant of some variant, whether it is the JS300 or the Quadricell, with the JS300 being a little bit cheaper and a little bit more power to come out with. So if you were going to upgrade the power plant, which you don't have to, I would say go with the JS300. The civilian equivalents are pretty good. As you go down the lines, the White Rose being the civilian grade A at 2419 power, but JS300 is going to have more than enough power to get you through anywhere. I would recommend it. The problem with the JS300, there's only a couple places that sell it. On to coolers. Now, in this case, coolers, 78K is what's required out of 760. I actually wouldn't touch them. A lot of people disagree with me because of distortion damage. If you shut down coolers, you shut down the whole ship. However, that's a PvP build. If you are going PvP, I would probably actually go with something like a Zero Rush. They would come back right away. Well, as quick as you could. And those would probably be a good build. Normally for PvE, I recommend going with the highest industrial, which in this case would be an Ultra Flow. But there's really no reason to upgrade for PvE from the Hydrocell. The Hydrocell is pretty good. I would just leave it alone, to be honest with you. Now, the one thing you should upgrade in every version of the Aurora is the Quantum Drive. The civilian grade C EOS is not bad. It goes 138K. Well, I should say 138,000. Let's say that. It's not bad. The best drive right now in 316.1 for a civilian drive is the Voyage, because it's just edges out the Atlas. The Atlas spools a little bit faster, and it is a grade A, but the Voyage does go a little bit faster, and you can still just have enough gas to get from ArcCorp to Microtech, just enough with the amount of quantum fuel that is available for a size 1 ship. So I would typically either go with an Atlas or a Voyage. Do not go with the military drives on a quantum drive because they're very fast, but they also eat gas really fast. So here we go. This is the Aurora MR build that I would recommend for advanced PvP fighting. Again, you could just leave the missiles alone, the shields alone, the power plant alone, but definitely you probably want to upgrade the quantum drive and then stick those 2 other lasers on a gimbal. There is not a downside to doing that. You can only do that with size 1s. If it were a size 2 hardpoint and you wanted to gimbal it, you would have to downgrade to a size 1. So, CF-117 Bulldogs. Let's stick all this stuff into the cart, and then let's go take a look at the cart. Okay. It comes with the Hydrocell coolers. That was just an accident, getting that up there. 2 Bulldogs, a Voyage, 2 shields, 2 missiles, a power plant, and 2 gimbals. Let's see where we can do the most one-stop shopping here. So we have Area 18 up here. Big Genie Point is really close to Area 18. The Sparks. Not a whole lot of places to get those. The JS300, same thing. Looks like Crew L5 might be the second stop there. Oh no, I'm sorry. Looks like the JS300, you'd have to go to her L2, which the Sparks are not sold there. Of course. You can pick up the gimbals pretty much anywhere. But between the Sparks and the JS300, you don't have to go with Sparks. But there's no place that sells them equally except I guess you could go to Crusader. If you're okay with going to Port Olisar and Orison, at least they're in the same area. But basically, to upgrade the ship, you're looking at about 69,038 alpha UEC. These builds are going to be very similar across the line. So there we go. So let's empty this cart and we will close. And let's go back to the Aurora here. Let's remember. I'll try to remember. I'm a little bit brain dead today. The total hit points 6290, and let's switch over to the Aurora. Let's go with the lowest brand, the base model, the ES, the Essential. Oh, look, 6290 hit points. Very similar. The speed is quite a bit less than the Aurora Marquis. Another thing I forgot to mention, sorry guys, the cargo capacity of the Aurora Marquis, for the ship that we just did before, was 3 SCU. As is all the rest of the Auroras except for the Clipper. The Clipper has 6 SCU of storage capacity. But here we go, the Aurora ES loadout. You can see that it's missing 2 guns, and it also comes with a ballistic cannon, which I do not recommend in these builds because ballistics have been nerfed and they suck. Unless you have a turret or Ares Inferno. So I would switch these over to 117s, just like the other builds. I would add gimbals to both mounts and switch these over to CF 117s. I should have gone back over the rest of this stuff. So basically, right around the same hit points. It's a little bit slower than the Marquis. It is. It does maneuver worse, like just a bit worse than the Marquis. And the hydrogen and stuff is just about the same. Single players, single role fighter. I guess starter Pathfinder is the role. It comes with 2 task force missiles, so it already has a great missile build. I would leave that alone. Now you can see it comes with civilian grade D components, except for the quantum drive. And honestly, if we see the power plant over here, it's almost maxed out at 1545. I'm going to recommend the same build as I did before. Like, I'm going to give you a max out build. These shields suck. I would change them. This power plant sucks. I would change it. The cooling, I think, is fine unless you're going for a PvP build. So I would leave the cooling alone and I would change the quantum drive. So for the shields, we'll go with FR66. Actually, let's go with the civilian model. We'll go with the 7SA Concorde because this is, you're not going to do PvP in this ship, let's be honest. The power plants, I would still go with the JS300 just because it's a very well-rounded power plant, but you could easily go with a White Rose or something like that. The White Rose goes for 16,850. JS300 goes for 19,000. Not that much price difference, but it does look like the JS300 is a little bit more power efficient. You could go with industrial drive as well if you wanted to look at that. The coolers, like I said, I would leave alone, and the quantum drive I would upgrade to a civilian Voyage. So there is the loadout for the Aurora ES. We got 551 sustained DPS now and 1344 burst. The power plant is under half, which is what we want, under half utilization. That leaves us a lot of room in there. So let's take everything to the cart, pull up the cart. Okay, so let's see what we can do at Area 18. A lot of this stuff is Bikini Point, Area 18, real close. And it looks like the JS300 and the gimbals we can get a Grim Hex. So Area 18, Bikini Point, which is right above Area 18, and then Grim Hex. So we don't have to worry about the missiles in this one. And the total build out for this is 75,076 alpha UEC. And then you'll have 2 leftover ballistic cannons if you ever want to use those on a different ship. So we're going to empty the cart. Okay. So let's move over to the RSI. Well, let me go back to the MR real quick and look at our whole hit points, 6290. And let's go to the Aurora LX, the deluxe Pathfinder exploration ship, size 2. Oh, look, 6290 in hit points. All right, very similar to the ES. I think the picture yaw roll is almost exactly the same. It is just a skosh slower than the MR as well. And of course it's missing its 2 weapons. So let's go ahead and we will mount our gimbals on those, and we will put our CF-117s on to match the other CF-117s. At least they come with that. Now look, we maxed out our power plant. So the LX, the deluxe version, has competition grade components, which is good for cooling, which I would not touch the coolers. However, the shields are competition grade. See, they're not great shields. They're not horrible. They come in real fast. They're better than the D's. So I would actually probably just leave these shields alone. But you do need to upgrade the power plant. Even the competition grade A cannot handle the 4 weapons. So again, I would throw a JS300 on there. I'd leave the shields alone. I think they're fine for the role of the ship. If you really want to upgrade them, throw in better shields, either civilian or military. I would leave the coolers alone, and of course we upgrade our quantum drive to a Voyage. Let's put the 551 DPS, not bad. And they come with Strike 4-2 cross-section missiles. I'd probably leave those. I think those are fine. Now here's the difference in this ship. The Deluxe actually has size 2 missiles. And so they're 2 size 2. So it is a size 3 missile hardpoint. So that is a difference that we're seeing here, guys. The Deluxe has a better missile rack up there. You can swap this missile rack out for 1 size 3 missile, or 4 size 1 missiles to give you a better missile payload. But I really like the Strike Force 2s. I think that's a good loadout for this ship. Let's throw our stock weapons and stock stuff into the non-stock into cart. We'll click on our cart to add the Bulldogs, Area 18. We're not putting a new missile rack on or missiles that comes with that. The Voyage, Bikini Point, the shields. We did not replace those. The new power plant, Grim Hex, and the gimbals, Grim Hex. And so to upgrade this ship, 43,486, and it's pretty close to the other ones. So the lowest cost to upgrade. That's nice, and a better missile payload. So we'll empty this cart, and let's move on over to the next ship, the second to last, the Aurora CL, the Clipper. This is our transporter. This guy actually has 6 SCU of cargo. Look at the whole hit points. Pretty much the same, right? 6290. The speeds are very similar to the other ships. If not, the ship might actually be a little bit slower than the other ships, like the Deluxe and the ES. The turning and the picture yaw is pretty much the same. But again, this ship is the transport ship. It's made to be a little bit slower. It's got size 2 missile hardpoint, come with task force 1s. Leave those alone. Again, add in mounts, size 1s, add in our 117 laser repeaters. Now let's look at the power plant. We can see everything is industrial grade components. I wouldn't touch coolers again unless you're trying to do some kind of PvP build. The shields, they're bulwarks, they're industrial grade C's, which means they aren't the worst, like the stewards there, but they aren't the best. So let's say we go ahead and upgrade these 2 civilian models, and the power plant is under half, so I actually wouldn't touch it. But if you wanted to upgrade this to a better power plant, probably go with the White Rose or a JS300. But let's go with the White Rose this time, and then we'll change the quantum drive again to the Voyage, and there we go. This is this build, 551 sustained DPS, 1344 bursts. And if the power plant here, we can see it's actually over half. I don't like that. Let's see if we can find a better power plant. JS300 takes it under half, so let's go with the JS300 on this. Non-stock items to cart. We will check the cart. The 2 Bulldogs, the Voyage, the shields, the power plant, and the gimbals. Looks like Area 18 and Grim Hex again, guys. So the upgrade cost for the Clipper, 68,776 alpha UEC. And then let's go to my favorite ship of this line, the Aurora Legionnaire, the LN, the fighting ship. This is the combat version of the ship. As you can see, it comes fully stocked, ready to go with Bulldog 117 repeaters. It is a size 2 ship, same hull hit points, okay? And if we look at SCM speed, it's right up there with the Marquee, so it's a little bit faster of a ship, but the pitch and yaw speed and the roll are the same as the other ships, so not as good as the Marquee, same quantum and stuff like that. Big difference on this ship. By the way, this ship has 3 SCU, but big difference is this ship has a size 4 missile rack. So stock loadout is 4 Dominator 2s, which is actually a really good loadout for this size of ship. I would keep it like that. I wouldn't mess with it. Those are good missiles and a good missile rack up there. The Secure Hide military grade D shields. These are the lowest of the military shields. I would say upgrade these, guys. If you're going to use this for fighting, which is what it's meant for, go with the FR66s. Don't even mess around. With the power plant, it's just at half. I would upgrade this from the military grade D Charger up to a JS300, bringing the power under half. The coolers, military grade C, they're fine. I wouldn't mess with them at all unless you're going to go try to PvP. Then I'd probably go competition. And of course, the quantum drive, once again, upgraded to a Voyage. And there we go. There's the loadout for the Aurora Legionnaire. Put the non-stock items into the cart. Let's check the cart. Okay, we have a quantum drive. Notice we didn't have to buy any lasers, so that saves us some money. That's Big Genie Point. The FR66s. We buy them at Orison, and we get at Cousin Crow's. We also buy the JS300. So it is still 2 trips. I hate to have to sing in Orison, but here we go. 72,200 off of aUEC to fully upgrade the Aurora LN. At least it's only 3 stops, or 3 things to buy. And there we go, folks. That is the loadout section for all of the Aurora ships. Next up on the docket, we are going to take a look at the Aurora brochure. It is very dated from RSI, and then we will check out the video. We'll do the third-person chase camera dogfighting, and then we'll do final thoughts with the outro. Stay tuned. We'll see you there. Hey, folks. Fist-25 here. A little bit of a late edit. I forgot to add the paints in, and it is definitely something I want to show off because I actually took the footage. So let's talk about paints for the Aurora series. All the paints fit on all the different ships. The first one we're going to look at is the green and gold livery. It's kind of a 3-tone green coloring with yellow accents, and I think it looks pretty nice. It's very militaristic, very much like the Legionnaire's base paint. The next paint is the Invictus Blue and Gold, and I actually don't own this paint because I didn't have the Aurora in 2950's Invictus, but I do have a still up there on the screen. It's blue, dark blue coloring with gold accents and Invictus logos. The next paint, which you can buy in game, is called the Light and Dark Gray. It's kind of more of a whitish for me. I guess it's gray. It's a 3-tone greenish gray coloring and accents. You can buy this paint in game as well as the green and gold paint. Now, here's some other paints for the Aurora. The first one I want to talk about is the Operation Pitchfork. These are not for sale, and I have not seen them at all. So you might have had to get these paints like way back in the day, and they are just not available anymore. Operation Pitchfork is an operation against the Vandul and some people who died in that battle. The next paint is the Pirate paint. Boldly show your true colors with the grinning countenance of the Jolly Roger, and letting all know that you do as you please, etc., etc. This is the Blackbeard stealth skin. The next paint is the SX SW 2015, and it commemorates Star Citizen's SX SW 2015 event. Kind of a cool multicolor paint. It's actually really neat. And the last paint on here that we have a picture of is the UEE Navy paint. Your love of the Empire will be clear to all when you emblazon your ship in this patriotic livery. So there we go, some extra paint skins on the Aurora series, and let's move on to the next part of the video, which is the brochure. All right, folks, here we go. We are here with the Aurora 2944, a Roberts Space Industries original. So keep in mind, this guide is, this brochure is very dated. This is an old ship. For all of life's obstacles, there's always going to be a danger out there. The trick is to be more dangerous. Written by Arturo Krift, Treatise of Flight 2577. At RSI, we can spend all day telling you about the propulsion ratings or power remapping, but the truth of the matter is, the universe is a dangerous place. When you buy a ship, you want to know that if a situation arises, you can feel confident in the knowledge that you have the means to protect what's yours. Fly safer in the 2944 Aurora Legionnaire, RSI's answer to the danger out there. Cool picture of the Legionnaire, dated picture of the Legionnaire, but you can see it has those 4 missiles built in, and it's got some guns, so all together cool. Versatility redefined. Adaptability is the law which governs survival in war as in life. Sir Basil H. Liddell Hart, Strategy, 1954. So here we go, another Aurora ship. Is this the ES or the LX? One of the two, I think. Here we have a blueprint of the Aurora, the store-all mini cargo pod, docking ring. See, it talks about the Klaus and Werner CF-007 Bulldog. It's the 117 now. Marksman missile, that's probably still a thing. So you can see how old these drawings are. More blueprints. They're just, a lot of it's out of date, so I don't want to get into it too much. Comrade in Arms. With the Legionnaire, RSI's engineers have crafted a variant that takes the versatility and dependability of the Aurora, but amplifies the emphasis on combat and defense. The Legionnaire offers double the hard points for Class 1 weapons and the option to mount a higher output shield generator from Gorgon, perfect for the pilot on a budget who travels through hostile territory or even as a militia ship for a burgeoning settlement. Regardless of the application, the Legionnaire has your back. See, this doesn't even look like a Legionnaire, even though it is, so different skin. Follow the leader. System not big enough for you? The Aurora LX, which is the deluxe, now comes with the RSI Oracle Jump Engine Standard, capable of traversing inner space to throughout the expanse of humanity and beyond. Finding new, undiscovered star systems, the Oracle natively connects you to your nav drive, track adjustments, and save your flight path to R2F format, supported by the aUEC jump point submission. I have no idea what a lot of that means, but hey, the Aurora Deluxe can go through jump points. So we talk about standard stats on the Aurora ES, the Essential, the store-all mini cargo. I hope we actually get this box one day. The Dragon STC Blue engine from Dragon Stellar Transit Company. Talk about the engine. The Seal Ink 1. A single field shield generator offers extra layer of security. I don't think there's any shield generators called Seal now. But a bunch of out-of-date stats and stuff like that. So still cool to look at, guys. RSI put this out a long time ago, but it's still there. I should say CIG. Now here's the marquee with M3A lasers and a lot of the same stuff. Just more, things have changed over the years, and the guides have not. Here is the Clipper with an Endurance 300. Famed for its titanium alloy chassis construction, the Endurance series of engines provides power without turbulence. So different kind of engine on that guy. Thruster output's a little bit different. So cool stuff. Here's the Legionnaire with the Defender all-stop shields. That is still a thing, I believe, although it's a different brand of shield that comes stock with it. And the different engine, the Inertia 4. It'll be cool once we actually have engine technology in game. We can actually swap out engines for better performance. And the Deluxe, which maybe is supposed to be the best model of Aurora. It does come with a different seat in the Deluxe. It has more of a sporty seat. Let me put that up on screen. Here is the Deluxe version of the seat. And then here is the stock version of the seat. So stock and Deluxe, and that's kind of what you get. Okay, so next slide, the Aurora family. Again, I don't want to go into this because it's a little bit out of date, but it does say when they used to do cargo capacity in tons like this, Clipper always carried more, twice as much as the rest of them. So that's still true today. And the turnkey troublemaker, the Legionnaire, is ready for action right off the lot. Outfitted with a pair of factory standard Bulldog repeaters from Klaus and Werner, these 3-barrel sequential fire cannons are designed to produce a high rate of fire while minimizing loss to accuracy. The missile rack comes preloaded with 4 bearing heat-seeking missiles. The remaining 2 hardpoints can accept any Class 1 weapon. Check with your local authorized RSI dealer for options and special offers. On the defensive end of the spectrum, RSI continues its partnership with Gorgon Defender to install their all-stop shield generator to all Legionnaire ships. The all-stop boasts a single field system designed to keep hostile fire at bay. You can rest assured that the new Legionnaire will not only take you out, it will bring you back. So, cool propaganda. Talked about active flight, the RSI 4-wall system with the avionics and stuff like that. Make yourself at home. Talking about self-land hangars, with which is what comes with the Aurora. Dependable, adaptable, and fun. This one talks about 2943 line of Auroras, which everything else is 2944. And your window in the world, see how different the HUD is in the brochure compared to the HUD in the game. One of the best HUDs in the game. There's the sleep in the bed, the N16 OptiGlass data tie-in. In the bed, the vampire coffin. And then in the middle is the super seat in the Aurora ES, I believe. A real nice seat. One is good, both are better. So it's talking about a Constellation and an Aurora. And then the Aurora. There are many like it, but this one is yours. So let's move on now to the the CIG Star Citizen video on the RSI Aurora.
So I was looking at the new Aurora, but then I was thinking, maybe I should get something that looks a little classy. But then I was like, no, I need something that can pull some serious weight. Maybe I don't need all that cargo space. What about the Legionnaire? Now we're talking. How about some bigger guns? Little bigger. No, little bigger. There you go. And maybe some rockets, too. Actually, I should probably upgrade the power plant. I did like the leather seats on that LX, though. Yeah, perfect. All right, let's see what this baby can do. Cargo.
RSI's Aurora. There are many like it, but this one is yours.
All right, guys, so that was it for the RSI Aurora. I really want to appreciate you for stopping by and watching the video. I really hope you found it informative, and I hope you learned something. And I'm really interested to know what your thoughts on the Aurora are. What is your favorite variant of the Aurora? Do you have an Aurora as a starter package? What's your favorite loadout? Do you prefer to have some kind of distortion weapons on it? Have you used it in a lot of PvP or something like that? I'd like to engage a discussion around the group. And if you enjoy the content here, please like and subscribe, and, you know, hop by our Discord. The link is in the description below, and it's also on the website, fistingjawa.org. And stop on by a stream, either on Thursday nights when Jawa and I both stream, or on Sundays when Java streams his, like, chill mining stream at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And our Thursday stream is at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So with that, I am Fist-25 signing off, saying if the fist don't get you, the lightning bolt will. Good night, Stanton.